Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. This is Friday Reads, and if you can hear the neighbor who is power washing his driveway, I do apologize for that. Our power just came back on, so he has decided he just now has to power wash his driveway. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to talk about what I read this week, which is a decent amount, I do have to say. I'm actually a little impressed with myself for this week. I've been trying to buckle down and read through a lot of the stuff. One, that I'm getting into that I have on ARCs. So I do have quite a bit to talk about. Let's go through let's do the physicals. Let's do the physical books that I read first. So last week I mentioned that I picked up Phantom by H.D. Carlton. I liked this. I did read it. I still stand by that I love this cover. Can I get this without spilling it? Oh yeah. Power just came back on, so I had to make a cup of coffee. Phantom is like a pseudo prequel to, I think, Haunting Adeline? Is that her first book? Anyway, this is the story of the two people. There are a set of letters that are uncovered in the other book, and this is that story written out. It has the letters in it, but also it's just, prose writing for the rest of it. I'm gonna put it down because it's hard to hold my coffee in that. I enjoyed it. It was nothing like mind-blowing. It was a nice brain break between other books, and I did have fun. There was nothing wildly dark or shocking in it. She really did nail the vibes though. So in this we have, what were their names? I can't even remember their names at this point. Hold on. Genevieve is the wife of a man who is getting on the bad side of the, what are they, Italian mob in the city. He is going into debt repeatedly, and she is writing into her journal about what is happening in their day-to-day life as he slowly becomes alcoholic and very abusive, that sort of thing. Meanwhile, you have the Phantom, who's, Ronaldo, I think? He is the right-hand man to this particular mob boss. He is the assassin, the hitman, the advisor, all of these things. And he becomes obsessed with Genevieve. He goes to visit the house of this man that is getting into debt with his group, and he goes and he sees Genevieve and he automatically becomes obsessed. So he kind of low-key stalks her. He stands outside the house, he watches her, that sort of thing. They strike up a weird relationship, and slowly, they start to become intimate while her husband is off being a horrible person. It's implied that perhaps he is sleeping around, but also he is assaulting her and hitting her, all this stuff. So if you do not want to read domestic assault, there is a sexual abuse in this, then don't read those scenes. Skip it even, I would say. And if you don't like the cheating trope, you're probably going to skip this as well. But that is their relationship, and it doesn't exactly end on a happily ever after. It just ends on a happy for now situation, and it is implied that if they did not end up together in life, then they do end up together in the afterlife, because there is an epilogue that kind of hints to as much. And yeah, it was fine. It wasn't anything that I would wildly write home about and recommend, but if you like kind of the gangster mob vibes and you don't mind those tropes, I would say give it a shot. It was a fun read. It was an engaging read. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was a little taken aback by the ending, because I said there was no happily ever after, but it was interesting. And she did, as I stated, do a great job with the setting. There was one scene where Ronaldo, he goes to another rival family who is doing his boss wrong, and there's the whole scene with his Tommy gun, and he's like blah 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 blam, like the mobster movies, like the old black and white flicks that everybody's, if you've not seen them, you know of them, right? It was one of those scenes, and it was pretty spot on. It was great in my head, at least. It was very cinematic. I see the images in my head when I read, so it was cool. So I enjoyed it. I don't regret the purchase. I don't know if I would recommend it for everyone, but if you're interested, it is worth picking up. The other physical novel that I read was Barbarian's Hope, which last week I was emotional about Asha, and I still stand by the fact that I love Asha. I did give this a 4 though, instead of a 5, because I love Asha, and I love, was it Himlo? And I love their story. I especially love how in this one we see the reverse caretaking trope. So in all the ICP books up to now, we see a lot of the male Sakui taking care of these human females, you know, dressing them, finding them caves, getting them furs and leathers, that sort of thing. And there is a reason that happens, but the cause of that is that our male hero here, Himlo, I believe his name was, gets hurt. So we see Asha do those things. We see a very interesting gender flip. I love reading about a strong woman, physically strong. I am a muscle mommy fan. And Asha is hauling his big ass around, taking care of him and getting him where he needs to go. She is being amazing. And I love to see that. Love to see it. The reason I docked a 4, though, was because this did a thing that I do dislike a lot. There are certain stereotypes and tropes that are often assigned to and used with the grieving mother trope. As that person, as someone who falls into that, I recognize them very quickly. And in this one, and I don't think it was meant maliciously, like some of these things can be meant, but in this one, she gets fixated on a small Metlak infant. And Metlaks are kind of, right now they read to me almost as chimpanzees or apes. They're intelligent, but not as intelligent as the Sakui or the human. They're an animal, but they do have some level of intelligence to them. I do not remember how the Metlaks play into the later books because it's been so long. But she gets fixated on this Metlak to the point that it's a little unhealthy. And it is because of her grief. It is bonding onto that child. And I did not like that. I know that happens and I understand that, but it is still troubling. It is still bothersome to see. So I didn't love it, but I did like the story overall. It is them coming together, second chance romance. Like I said last week, all the ICP books are like that. They are just romances on this icy planet. This one didn't feed much into the meta plot that's going on right now, which is another kind of reason I think it didn't hit as hard. But I love Asha. I relate to Asha. So I enjoyed this for what it was. The final physical book I read was another romance, and that is the 8th volume of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. Still don't know how to say her last name. If you're not reading this series, I don't know what to say. I love it. I think there's going to be 9. I think the next one is the last one. This one we see a culmination of a lot of things that we've been building up to, and it was amazing. I am most likely going to be getting a tattoo, something small from this series because I love this series so very much. But if you are reading it, do know volume 8 is out. You should pick it up. It has got a fantastic climax, and I can't wait for volume 9 to see what happens. I love these. If you don't know what Lore Olympus is, this is a webtoon turned graphic novel. Let me put my coffee down again. Wow. Pow. Webtoon turned graphic novel, which has been published with this fantastic color palette. And we see all the gods. It's the tale of Hades and Persephone. Hades runs the underworld and Persephone goes down there for her first job, and she is interned at his building, and they meet, and it is their story. It's a modern twist on the Greek gods, all of the lore, everything like that, and I really love it. I do recommend it if you haven't picked it up and you like this sort of thing. It is fantastic. It's very, very popular and common, so you should be able to get it from a library. I would say check your local libraries for these. But I do love the series. I love the artwork and the color and all of it. So for the other things I read 3 other digital books. I had one DNF I'm going to throw out really quickly, and that was Gothicana by Runix. I got about 20-30 pages into this. The writing was just not for me. It's just way too juvenile. I really didn't care for that, and there was no way I was going to read that. Knowing that it's like a spicy thing, it's spice in it, with the writing the way it was, made my skin crawl. It's like, that's not for me. No, thank you. So I did DNF that. Got it off my shelves. But as for the digital things, let me scooch over just a hair. Scooch it. Okay. We have Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. This is a novella. It is out. It came out, I believe, on Tuesday. And this is pitched as an Asian fantasy Mandalorian-inspired story. In this, we have our main character. I believe her name is Yiva. She is this knight who has this ability to awaken this mythical fire in this certain ore that allows her to hunt dragons in this kingdom that she is training in. She goes off to become this knight, and she becomes pretty much sworn to that identity. She is just a knight. She always wears her armor. She always wears her helmet, because it is easier to be the warrior than to be the woman who is a warrior. So she wears her armor. She is sent to a neighboring kingdom to hunt down what they believe is a dragon that is hiding in those borders, and she is sent alone. So she goes to this court, and she becomes embroiled and entangled with the lady, the empress of this this empire, and they kind of strike up a sort of relationship while she begins to look for the dragon, but eventually comes to the realization that perhaps there is no dragon, or if there is, she should maybe leave it alone. And, things, of course, get complicated, as they do. And it's very short. Like I said, 180 pages, 178 pages. So it is good. I enjoyed it, but it lacked a lot of oomph for me. And I had this problem with the last Neon Yang book that I read. This one, it was the narrative style. The story is told as if it's like a fable or folklore passed down, and where it's being told to another person or small children, and it kind of put this cold distance in the story, so it just didn't have that punch that I wanted it to have. Beautiful cover, beautiful writing, but it didn't land as well as I had hoped it would. So know that, I guess. If you are interested in it, definitely maybe try a sample. You might be able to pick up a sample via Amazon and try it, but it just didn't hit as hard as I wanted. The second ebook that I read was Psychopomp and Circumstance by Eden Royce. This comes out in October. It's another Tor.com novella. It's 176 pages. This one, I didn't think I was going to like it first, but I ended up really enjoying it. And this is about, Fee. And Fee lives in the Reconstruction era and she is part of a moderately wealthy black family. And at the beginning of the novel, her aunt passes away, and her aunt is estranged from her family, and we find out why over the course of the novella. But Fee is the only one that really speaks to her aunt. And when they find out she's passed away, she volunteers to do the homegoing. And her mother does not want her to do this. Her mother is very controlling, not a nice lady, but she does it anyway. She wants to go off and she wants to find her own life, possibly a profession, and she's not exactly wild about the idea of being married off like her family wants her to be. So she goes to this town that her aunt helped to found, and she starts taking care of these funeral rites and everything. And we watch her kind of come into her own and find her place here and find people here that respect her and speak with her as a person instead of her mother wants her like a piece of meat, someone to marry off. And we also see some of the super duplicitous and dark side of her family that has led to this situation where her aunt is estranged. Absolutely really enjoyed this. It was shockingly good, especially once I got my feet under me. There is a vibe and a feeling to this that is like a gloomy day. It felt like a gloomy gray day, but it was also hopeful. Just after the rain when it's wet, you feeling good, but the sky is still a little gray. That's kind of the vibe that this had. And there are notes of grief, and there's feelings of, loss, because we've lost a family member. And not only that, she's mourning the fact that she lost all this time she could have had with her aunt because of her family's infighting. But ultimately, you have that feeling of hope. She finds sort of a place, and there's relationships made here that I really liked. There's some characters introduced that I also really liked. And I'm very excited for her new job position. I sincerely hope we get another book in this world following Fee and her new job. I would read a whole novel, in fact, from this author about Fee and this town and her job. I think it would be fantastic. So that one I actually really do recommend, especially around October when you're kind of in the mood for those gray, spooky, but slightly hopeful vibes. This would be a very good one. There's some ghosts, there's some paranormal notes in there. It was really good. I really liked it. It wasn't perfect, but I did super enjoy it. And the last thing that I read that oh my god. Okay, so here we are. I read the other new Julie Soto book, The Thrashers. Now, The Thrashers, don't tell me if I'm wrong because you'll ruin it, is not based off of fan fiction that Julie Soto had previously written. It is a YA thriller mystery novel. In the novel, a young girl takes her own life after being bullied at school. And the book takes place from the viewpoint of another young girl who, oh man, she is part of the group that everyone blames for the bulk of the bullying. And we start to see how her and her friends become caught up in this investigation. And there are alleged acts that she swears didn't happen, but there is a journal that says that they did. And she is being dragged along as the police investigate everything. And it's like, did they bully her so much that she took her own life, or is there more here? And there are hints at something paranormal or spooky. Something is going on. Someone is pulling strings, and it's so good. This is what Julie Soto can do. Just skip Rose and Chains. No, I'm gonna pretend it doesn't exist. This proves to me she is a good writer when she writes her own things, when she writes from herself, what she has come up with, her characters, her worlds, that sort of thing. It was really good. The pacing was fantastic. I absolutely loved the pace of the story. I don't even like thrillers, but this kept me engaged and it kept me going. I also really loved the characters. They were nuanced. They had flaws, but they also had positive attributes, and by the end of the book, you both loved and hated everyone. And I liked everything about it. My only complaint was that we didn't need that epilogue. Don't read the epilogue. I think it can be skipped. But otherwise, I thought this was great. I actually looked at it and tried to decipher if there was a fan fiction route to this. If there was, she scrubbed the numbers off so well that it's obvious that it's not obvious. She scrubbed the numbers off of it so well that I can't tell. So I don't think this was based off fan fiction. It's fantastic. I really, really liked it. I do recommend it. If you are interested in it, it is worth picking up. I'm actually thinking about buying it for a teen that I am friends with. My best friend's daughter is the right age bracket for this, and I'm thinking about buying her a copy because I liked it so much. So, fantastic novel. Great novel. Yeah, that was the last thing I read, and I really liked it. And I'm so confused and conflicted on Julie Soto right now. But, moving on. What I am currently reading, I just started today a letter from the Lonesome Shore. This is, I don't know if you can see it, by Sylvie Catherell. This is the sequel to, I can't remember the full title. I'll put it up here, Letters from the Deep or something like that. I can't remember the title now that I've started talking about it. But this finishes that duology. The Sunken Archive duology, I think is the series name. So I just started that today. I will hopefully finish that tomorrow. I'm trying to be pacey through some stuff and read down my arcs because I keep getting more, and I'm trying to turn in a bunch. Now, I did get some books this week. Let me put my coffee back down. It's getting cold. I'm going to have to chug it after this. Like, dang. I took a huge bag of books to the used bookstore. I had a bunch of stuff that I had recently DNF'd and stuff that I wasn't interested in. I cleaned my shelves a little. They look a lot nicer. I keep looking over at them. But I did get a few books with the credit that got me, and I got a book from the publisher. So the book from the publisher, first off, from Saga Press, because let's all say it together, we love Saga Press, is Flight of the Fallen, which is the Mage Bike Courier Book 2. This is the sequel to, what was it? Something Ruins. See, I can't remember anything. Road to Ruin. And this is by Hana Lee. I really liked Road to Ruin last year. Really, really liked it. And the ending of that one, oh my goodness, was so good. So I'm very excited. I have my little tab bookmark thing in there. So as you see, I plan on picking this up this weekend. I'm very, very, very excited. So that should hopefully be read very soon. It comes out in June on the 10th if you are interested. If you have not read Road to Ruin, I recommend it. So as for what I got at the used bookstore, I got 4 things. I couldn't find anything in the fantasy and science fiction section or in the romance. I don't usually get romance at this particular used bookstore because they don't carry a lot of the good stuff that I like. But they usually have something in fantasy and science fiction. But sadly, they didn't have anything this time. I did get a horror novel. I finally got We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. I think Kluwer. This has made its rounds, and this is about a woman who is living in this house, and this family stops by, and the man says, I used to live here. Can I show my family around? And then they don't leave. Something happens and they don't leave. I believe this was a creepypasta. Yeah, Reddit hit. This was like a creepypasta before it was published. So I'm very, very excited about that. The last time I read a creepypasta turned into a horror novel, it scarred me. It terrified me. If you want to read it, it's called Pen Pal. I hated it. Loved it. Hated it. The rest of what I got is nonfiction, so who knows when I'll read it, but I have it to read. The first one is Phenomena by Annie Jacobson. This is the secret history of the U.S. government's investigations into extrasensory perception and psychokinesis. I love this sort of stuff. Call me weird, but I love this sort of stuff. So this is about, MK Ultra and all those things. I do believe I have an arc about that I need to read as well. A book about scientists, psychics, and top secret clearances. Sounds like fun, but also it's intimidating. It's so thick. I looked when I bought it. At least 100 pages of this is sources and footnotes and sites, but it looks like the bulk of it is about 420 pages. So it looks maybe thicker than it is. The next one I read is Ghost Hunters, William James, and the Search for the Scientific Proof of Life After Death. So in this one, this is William James was a philosopher and professor of psychiatry at Harvard University. This was around the time, I believe, of the spiritualism movement, and it is about that. I find that super fascinating. I have read quite a few books about that, mostly circling around Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Houdini, who were very involved in that in their own kind of relationship and feud. So I haven't read anything freestanding from them, so I'm very interested in this and when it actually takes place, because I know it cites that period. I just do not know if it's set specifically then. So we'll see. 1882, so possibly. I am looking forward to that as well. And finally, for the nonfiction, which is, I said the other one was intimidating. Look at this bad boy. Normal Women, 900 Years of Making History by Philippa Gregory. It has got this plastic covering on it. It's like a library one, but it's done much better than any library covering I've ever seen. So I don't hate it. But this is basically a nonfiction following notes and essays, I suppose. It's just following normal women throughout history. This is a radical retelling of our nation's story, not the rise and fall of kings and the occasional queen, but of social and cultural change powered by determination, persistence, and effectiveness of women from 1066 to modern times. So this is basically just what the normal woman's life was like over time and how that affected and aided in history. I don't know. I just thought that sounded cool. It's humongous. Let's look at the back, shall we? So it's got quite a few pages of images, 560 pages, and the rest of it is sources and acknowledgments. So we'll see how that goes eventually. So there's everything I got. I told you I was reading A Letter from the Lonesome Shore. I'm probably going to start Flight of the Fallen and A Song for Legends Lost. I am also, the big thing, I am a little over halfway through Battle Mage Farmer, the first book, which is called, not Desolation. I'll put it up here. It starts with a D. But it's the first Battle Mage Farmer. I'm listening to it on audiobook. And listen, I know a lot of people who listen to Brandon Sanderson audiobooks love Michael Kramer. He does the voice for this. He's the narrator on this. And honestly, I've never liked his voice very much. He talks really slow. I have to speed him up to like 2.5. He's doing a good job with this though. So if you like Michael Kramer, you might enjoy this. It's fantastic. It's about John, who is retired from the army in this fantasy world where he was summoned to many years ago during a great war. He's retired and he wants a quiet life. He doesn't want anything to do with anybody. He wants his cows, he wants his bull, and he wants his house, and he just wants to sit on his farm and do farm things. And it's him coming to this town, meeting people, and taking his deed and taking up farm life. And it's just so good. It's just so good. It's very slice of life. It has cultivation sort of style magic to it, but also it is a lit RPG, so we have that factor. And it does have the little micro trope that you see in a lot of cultivation lit RPG novels, where an animal or a creature is fed mana of some sort and it kind of slowly, sometimes quickly, but in this case very slowly, raises their intelligence, and I adore that. We have met, there's now two of them. We have two animals that's happening with, and it's my favorite thing. John has no idea what's going on. I know what's going on, and that makes it funny. But yes, this is going fantastic. I have already added the second book to my Audible library, so I will probably go straight into the second book after this one because I like it so much. But that's it. That's everything that I have read and everything that I am reading. Let me know down below what y'all think. Are you interested in anything I talked about, and what are you reading? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I'll talk to you again soon.